Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Mr. Silato, the Regional Manager at Glat Engineering, and I'm today with my colleague, Mr. Amit Shukla, our Assistant Vice President, Sales. It's my great pleasure having you on this webinar on the team Marketing Libraries to the Next Generation. We have host exciting panelists who will share deeper insights on the topic and as well as giving us more personal experience on how to maintain relationship and their libraries beyond. Allow me to introduce our panelists. Our first speaker of today's webinar will be Dr. Sarah Kibuki. She's the Director of Library Services at Technical University of Kenya, and she's also passionate in activities concerned with the development and management of libraries. Our second speaker will be Mr. Narayan Kuti, a committed research library professional with over 38 years of experience, passionate about innovative ways, in terms of how to reach users by proactive engagement. And our third speaker will be Dr. Kasia Sakari, a chief librarian at the University of Malaya. She is also a global speaker and a member of Malaysia, Association of Research Managers and Administrators. Through this topic, we all know that COVID-19 pandemic had a tremendous shift, for the focus of libraries from physical to the virtual. And hence the question, how can library custodians enhance its relation with the users at the same time, keeping in mind the disruption of services because of the COVID and also the dynamic change in terms of diversity of our user preferences. And also not forgetting that the library still remain the central focus of learning and also dissemination of information or knowledge to the users. So these, among others, questions that our speakers will be engaging deeply. Allow me to invite our first speaker, Dr. Sarah, to take the session. You're most welcome, Madam Sarah.
Thank you very much, Stila. Thank you very much, Amit, and the colleagues. I believe I'm audible. It's a very interesting topic. But what I would like to say first is, even as we look at the relationship marketing, it is important that as we look at that relationship marketing in libraries and reaching out to the library users, we need to mention briefly how libraries operated and give services to users during the pandemic, and especially the academic libraries. So what was the effect of, and I think, Amit, you can share the slides. So what was the effect of the COVID-19 on marketing, library services, and resources in the academic libraries? First and foremost is that the libraries closed. And as we all know, that libraries, the university is closed because of the lockdown. And libraries are partners in learning, teaching, and research. And therefore, when the university is closed, the library is also closed. And therefore, I believe we all saw darkness. Everybody saw darkness, the librarians, the faculty, the users, and all that. Simply because there was no physical contact in the libraries. And as we know, as much as yes, we are talking of electronic resources, we still have the users who feel they would need to have the physical contact with the libraries. This was not to be there. And as we saw darkness then, we are saying it was important that the libraries had to position the library to fit the new norm. So it was a time to shift our goal. Yes, we have been serving users both physically and online, but now things had changed. It therefore became important to position the library to fit the new norm. I meet the next slide. How were we going to do this? First and foremost, the library services and products you needed to be given despite the closure. And this is where the remote access played a very important role, not just in the academic libraries, but we believe in all the libraries. The librarians needed to tell the users what the library has and not just what the users were seeking for, and they needed to come up with the new strategies. It was time to show value of the librarian in offering effective services. How was this done? Long time ago, even in our library schools, when we are learning, we're talking about the current awareness services. It was important to keep on giving the users that current information so that you could keep them engaged, you could keep them very, very well engaged so that they are aware of not only the services that are being given, but the new norm that the library was taking to continue offering the services and also the products which were there. This was important because most of the publishers were able to give free of charge their resources, the online resources, to libraries, which in turn were passed on to the users. So this information needed to be communicated to the users through these awareness services. Then, of course, the selective dissemination of information. And this was done through the user profiling, that you give people exactly the information they want or the one that you know they may require. And user profiling was done. And this allowed the libraries not only to engage the users, but also to keep them engaged. Publicizing the online resources which are available in libraries became very, very important. Yes, it is something that has always been done, but it took a new turn that it was important, more important now for the users, because life had to go on. Despite the libraries closed, the life had to go on. The research still had to be carried out. Examinations still had to be done. Teaching still continued to be done online. And therefore, these online resources became very, very important. So as I share this on what we all went through, I would like us to just look very briefly at the definition of relationship marketing in libraries. And the best definition which we got was from Besant 2000, which says that relationship marketing involves establishment, maintenance, and even the enhancement of customer and other library-related relationships. I'm sure this rings a bell for all of us. That is, a librarian, you have to reach out to users and keep them interested in the library services and products. It's not just a matter of getting the users, it's keeping them interested in the services that you're giving and also the products that you have in the library. How do you do this? What kind of relationships are you going to have? Most of our customers need personal touch, and therefore the personal touch, but with professional content. Most of the people don't want just to deal with the library or a librarian. They don't want to deal with a person. So this became quite important, that whether it was through emails or through telephone, keeping the users engaged and enhancing their satisfaction became a very important aspect for the library. And therefore, the continuous feedback is also important in relationship marketing. And this is what we need to look at, continuous feedback. And for us to ensure to do that, the people in the library, the librarians and all the staff have to be involved. And Amit, I think we could run the poll, the first poll now, after the definition, before we go to the relationship marketing in libraries. We could run the poll. The poll becomes important.
Please.
Yes, we all do marketing, I believe. It's how often we do it.
Right. Should I end the poll or?
Yeah, I think so that we save on time. We could go to the next slide. Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. So let me share the result of the poll.
Oh.
So yeah, so around 160 people have participated over here, and we got the result over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. I think from the poll, we can see a lot of the libraries doing relationship marketing, and they do on monthly, that is 56% on monthly, which is quite a high figure. Then we have 19% on quarterly, biannual is just 2%, annually 15%, and none is 9%. Thank you very much for the people who participated. We can see that the relationship marketing is done mostly on a monthly basis. And I think it's a good pointer. Thank you. We could go to the next slide.
Sure.
And we now look at the relationship marketing in libraries. And because we are not learning, I'll just mention that yes, it involves creating mindset values and assumptions of providers of the library service towards its patrons. That is what we do as librarians. And therefore, customer-focused approach is where the library users are the pivot of all the marketing activities, and all efforts must address meeting the customer needs exceedingly. So customer focus and not library focus. And therefore, all the efforts that we have to carry out are on promotion so that we can gain the participation of the users and also encourage the users to take advantage of what the library offers, both the products and the services. It also becomes important to brand the library, and they should be in line with creating the user loyalty, which leads to building a long-term positive relationship. So when we look at the relationship marketing in libraries, it's not just getting the users, it's creating and maintaining and sustaining that long-term positive relationship with our users. Why are we saying this? Because we have to exceed the expectations of our customers. And whether we want to call them customers, clients, or users, whichever term you're using, we have to exceed their expectations and maintain our users for long term. Our next slide, Amit, then we look at what are the library relations and strategies to maintaining them. We have 6 relationship markets to which we have to create confidence. And the first one, according to Philip Kotler, is that the best advertisement constitutes satisfied clients. We all know that satisfied clients will make them keep on coming back, getting the product, getting the services, and they'll be long-term clients. So the markets include the first one, the external markets. These are our users and also our patrons. And even if they are not coming to the library physically, we need to find out about our user needs. I mentioned earlier on about the selective dissemination of information. I mentioned about the user profiling. This one will give us the user needs and then get ideas on continuous development of the library operations. You'll be surprised the kind of ideas we get from our users. Then of course, increase the user knowledge and use of full range of library competencies. Again, when we look at these external markets, and for us to maintain this, we need to maintain very close relationship between the libraries and the library schools, so that the curriculum will keep on changing, especially now when we look at the library relationship, library relations and marketing relationships. Then we have the internal markets. The chief librarian or the person at the top should realize that all staff members are supposed to be part and parcel of marketing, because marketing should involve everyone within the library. And therefore, the entire library culture should be relational as compared to the transactional. That it's not just people at the top who are involved in the marketing, it has to be everybody within the library. Why are we saying this? Because the customer is the responsibility of everyone within the library. Then the third one is the supplier, the vendors, the publishers, the booksellers, and so on. That yes, the libraries, we give the products to our users. And even as much as we want to look at ourselves as the intermediary, we need to maintain that close relationship with the other service providers. So we need to adopt own set of vendor relationship guidelines and therefore communicate the preferences, the interests and priorities to promote the transparency. We need to have, as libraries, clear lines of communication, and for us to select and get the most appropriate products for our users. And therefore, we need to have closer support and collaboration with our suppliers and the publishers. I had mentioned earlier that most of the publishers were able to open up their resources free of charge for the libraries. This is the kind of relationship that I have in mind. Then the other one, of course, is the referral market. The next slide. And these are the groups that do marketing on behalf of the library. And when we look at this group, mostly they are the users who are already very satisfied with the library services and the products, simply because of the one-on-one contact. And when we say that sometimes you can give them a gift, it is not bribing them, but it is appreciating the work that they are doing. For instance, giving them branded items of the library, making them library ambassadors, and this will help the people that they are getting contact with, because this one-on-one helps the library to get more users. So these referral markets, I went to the library, they're having these services, I'm satisfied to this level, and you find most of the people who come to look for the services. Then of course, the recruitment market. This is something that has not picked up very well, but it needs to be beefed up. When we talk of the relationship, marketing can be enhanced by working together to ensure right talents, resources, and therefore spearhead the library services. This is something that we need to look at very, very seriously. Then of course, the constant communication between the parties to ensure the right talent. As we look at the service and the marketing relationship for the next generation, we need to have different talents. We need to have different competencies. How do we ensure this? As we look at the recruitment markets, we need to say, this is the kind of competency we need for this kind of service to be provided by the library. The other one is the influence market, mostly the consortium. In Kenya, we have the Kenya Libraries and Information Services Consortium. And what does it do? It offers on discounted rate the resources that we are able to purchase. The purchasing power of the libraries is enhanced because the consortium purchases the resources on behalf of the libraries. So we put our kitty together and we are able to get far much more than we can get if it is only the library. And therefore, it also gives constant communication between the libraries and the consortium, the training and laying the strategies on how to market the resources that we have. And of course, the capacity building. So the consortia influences, as we call it, the influence market, has a lot to do with the libraries. And I believe we can have the second poll on the strategies, Amit.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, we have 3 more minutes.
Yes, I'll be done within the 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Please participate in the poll.
Yes. And I think 1 minute is just enough for the poll. So I think we can move on to the next slide, Amit.
Yeah, ma'am. Sure. Let me just show the poll.
Okay.
We have got 170 participants in this 35-second of the poll, and this is the result. Yeah.
Oh, the result is very encouraging. Internal market, 75%, external, 34%, through vendors is 20%, referral, 23%, influence marketing is 18%. Thank you very much for the ones who participated in the poll. At least the internal marketing has the day. So these are the strategies that we used in Kenya, and I believe most of the people, that the resources provided by Kenya Library Information Services Consortium were used. And then, of course, making the library web pages more vibrant, using the portal of Ask a Librarian. We created the liaison librarians who are linked to schools to be on call to the users within the individual schools and faculties. And then, of course, analyzing the usage statistics to be able to know which resources were more popular than the others. And of course, that helped us to develop online in-house user guides for each and every database that we have. What was interesting is we witnessed increase in number of institutions subscribing to RemoteX and MyLoft to ensure the remote access. And then the strategies for the next slide to building long-term relationship in libraries is that we have to keep in touch constantly with our users. We have to give feedback. We have to share experiences with the users. And most importantly, we have to listen to what our customers are saying, because we have to offer quality and we need to have commitment that our users can trust us. So in conclusion, what are we saying? Is that the idea of relationship marketing has to permeate the organization with full support of the library management and the involvement of the whole of library staff. This is crucial for each and every library. Then, of course, having the right knowledge about our library market segments, understand our customer focus and customer value, and also ensure that there is positive general working environment within the library, whether it is online or whether it is physical. And we need that each and every member of staff should understand how to meet the customer needs, that each and every customer is very, very important, whether it is online or it is physical. And lastly, developing good marketing relationship takes time. It is not something we get within a year or within 6 months. And the library should be marketed as a customer focus instead of a library focus. Thank you very much. I hope I've not taken too much time, and those are the references. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kibuki, for your very insight presentation on relationship marketing, the strategies. What really stand out here is that continuous, seeking for continuous customer feedback is the key. Allow me to invite our second presenter, who will give us more insights on the real life experience, practical solutions when it comes to relationship marketing. Mr. Narayan Kuti, please, you're welcome.
Namaste to all of you. Extremely happy to be among with all of you for this session. Thank you very much, Dr. Sara, for that nice and cute introduction. Well, I'll be telling you about my lifetime experiences, and my focus will be on research and special libraries. My library was actually with a large user base of about 4,000. So we attempted our level best in order to get in touch with the users to market our services and products. We'll move on to the next slide. Well, I'm sure that you will not dispute with me if I say the success of marketing a library is directly related to establishing and maintaining a relationship with the users. Let me underline intimate relationship. We need to invest more time and money in marketing. But of course, with shoestring budget, which will fetch excellent return on investment. Moving on to the next slide. Well, to have a successful marketing in a library, we need a very strong thought out strategy. And that strategy should be reviewed every 6 months because the pace at which developments are happening is known to us. So we need to always review and make ourselves up to date. So there are 3 elements in this. Travel ahead of the users. You know that digital natives are very good at searching and making use of the internet and the social media. Librarians should be well versed in it. In fact, librarians are quite good at searching. Everybody has agreed this. Only thing is, they have to make use of their power within them in order to learn more and go ahead of the users in making use of the internet and learning what are the developments that are going to come in future so that we can always be ready to help the users. Second thing is, be with them. You have to be always with them, see what they are doing, how they are doing, learn from them, try to collaborate with them, and also try to find their gaps and help them whenever they need information and support. The third thing is follow them. The most important here is ensure you take regular feedback. In fact, if you get a negative feedback, certainly you have to correct yourself. If it is a positive feedback, be happy about it. You collect all the feedback, it's going to be an answer for the question from the management. Not only that, ensure that you follow the users wherever they are. Be present on the net, yourself and the library. You should have a system in order to contact them. They should also be able to contact you. Suppose somebody is sitting in the airport, you should be able to identify this and tell them that if you want some help from library, a bit and piece of information, we can provide it to you. Similarly, if they want some information, anytime they should be able to contact you back, a two-way communication. So I'll be broadly talking to you on these following topics: to establish and maintain relation, know your clientele well, and connect and communicate with your users, make the clientele and the library discoverable, empower and engage the users, support and showcase the users. We will move on to the next slide. Well, as I told you, know your clientele. KYC is quite popular. Banks are making very good use of this. You get sometimes call from a bank. Hello, good morning, happy birthday. Shall I help you out with a loan? Such an attitude has to come from library also in a different way. So to be successful in this, we should collect maximum data about each and every user who is joining the library. You cannot collect the entire data in one go. So you can go by phases. Now pick all these elements and what you can do is gather the data and put them into a powerful database. I'll come to that later. But you have to shift from your normal routine works and make this as an ongoing activity. We will move on to the next slide. Well, friends, the next important point I would like to tell you is connect and communicate. User communication channel between user and library should be up on 24/7. During pandemic, when lockdown was implemented, I used to sit late with my team in order to help our users. They used to call us because we announced we'll be available anytime. They used to call us to connect them to the remote access, download an article which they were not able to do. And we could maintain and build a very good relation with them. They were very happy to see that library team is up and with them. The next thing is, when you have a very large user base, you have to divide the user base into small groups and assign each group to a information professional. Let's call him information service provider. So that person is going to be the focal point for the users to contact anything and everything from the library. They should learn all users of that group very well. They should be able to call them by name when they cross through the corridor, on the bus, or in the cafeteria. This is going to take the relationship to a totally different level. And in depth, you can provide information to them. The next thing is, you should always take positive steps to connect them to the library homepage, which you should design in such a way that it is oriented towards the user's requirement. The next thing, what you can do is visit users at their workplace and learn their requirements. Once we decided to implement this, and we gave a call to one of our users, requesting him, sir, can we come down and see your lab? We would like to discuss with you more on your requirements so that we can learn what you're doing and give you better service. He was actually taken aback and said, please come in. And then when we reached him, there were about a couple of people even from the neighborhood, about a gathering of 12. Then we could have a very fruitful interaction, informal interaction with them. Through this, we could pick information requirement, where we are strong, where they are strong. We could exchange the ideas. We could check their system, how they are connected to the library. And when we were about to come off, we distributed brochures which contained information about the library. So it is a built-in marketing, and your relationship is growing further. If you are not able to meet them physically at their location, make it a point to do this frequently virtually. And you can have mass communication events. I can give you one example. We used to celebrate National Library Week. In one such program, we wanted to get maximum participation of the users. So we designed a quiz program. In the quiz program, we had a set of questions as a booklet, and questions also were there. We distributed the answers first. The participants were taken aback again. Some of them called me and asked, how come you are distributing the answers first and giving us the questions later? What is the fun in having such a quiz? I asked them, have you read the booklet? Yes. Have you seen the entire content of it? Yeah, I have read it at least 3 times because I'm going to participate in the quiz. Well, this is what I want. This way, very simply, with a shoestring budget, we could reach out to the entire user community. And in fact, we encourage them to sit together and discuss and answer the questions. They were also allowed to come to the library and discuss with and find the answers if they have any difficulty. See, think out of the box and help them. So the next thing is, you can have little publications where you can embed your advertisement and go forward. We will move on to the next slide. Well, dear friends, shall we have the next slide, please? The most important thing in my point is that visualize the users as live information sources and make them discoverable. You have collected a lot of information about each and every user and build an information base, put them into a powerful database. We made use of a software called Vivo, which has got more than 3,000 installations across the globe. It's an open source software. it can create wonders for you. What we did was, visually, we were able to show the collaboration, the activity of users, their publications, and we could even connect them to the users within the organization and outside the organization, which actually impressed them. So you always give them surprise and move ahead. If you don't have such a software, simply you can start indexing each and every user in the catalog. Somebody is searching for the catalog and looking for an electronics book. He can see an expert when he retrieves a book along with that book. He can reserve a slot for that particular expert, have a discussion with him, and build a collaboration. So if you are setting such platforms, it's going to be a wonderful time with the users. I think at this point, I would like to have one poll. How many of you agree with me? Amit, can we have the poll?
Yes.
Well, how many of you agree with me that we should consider intellectual capital and make them discoverable? Please go ahead. As live information sources, we are very good at organizing documents and information. We should be doing organizing the tacit information also, each and every user of our library.
In 30
If
seconds,
it is over, please.
190 plus. So let me end the poll and publish.
Yeah,
it.
please. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. So
Shall we go for the result?
200, yeah, 212.
This is great. I'm
participated.
extremely happy that 87.7% is agreeing to this. Shall we go for the second one? Like, how many of you are practicing this?
So the second question, second poll I'm launching over here, and it's this.
Well, please. Please select your option. And I think we can go for the result if the time is up. Request more participants to vote.
Discoverable. So it is more
Yes.
focused on users.
Yes,
Let me end.
Amit, I think we can go for the result.
Yeah.
Oh, this is excellent. I'm indeed happy to see that a lot of people are making efforts. Now let's move on to our second part of the slide. Well,
Sure, sir.
when you are engaged in making the users discoverable, you should also pay a lot of attention to make your library discoverable. You should move from normal cataloging practice to discovery services. They can take care of your print as well as online content. They also have a lot of technology embedded in it, like open URL links, like that you get in Google Scholar. When we implemented this, we started getting calls from the library users telling that it's wonderful, you have integrated your library with Google Scholar, and now we are able to download the content from open URL links. Browser extensions is another what you can start practicing. Of course, Myloft has got a browser extension in order to launch their app on the desktop. You should make your presence in social media, and also browser extensions, general browser extensions are available. Explore that. Advertise the library wherever it is possible. You can partner with private agencies if number of librarians are less in your library. And there is another technique that you can employ very easily. Go to the management top guys and tell them, why don't you participate, help us and be the brand ambassador for some of the library products and services. We did this by taking video messages. When the boss says yes, all the subordinates will certainly say yes and go to the resources and start using it. You don't have any expense for this. Enjoy it. And the next thing is search marketing. This is quite popular in the business field. When you search for something, the related things will come up. When you do it again, you can see that whatever you have searched, it will give in the search results. If you can bring your library onto the search results and promote it further and further, whenever more and more our users are on the net, it is very easy for them to come from Google or any other search engine to the library. For that, you have to make your library site more rich and crawlable for the search engines. We will move on to the next slide now. Well, empower and engage the users. We regularly do this, empowering the users by providing information services. But what I want you to do is that think out of the box and do some value additions. Connect them to their peers, connect them to the publishers. We should, as Dr. Sarah said, make use of the facilities provided by the publishers. They have even a separate fund for marketing their products. We are paying for them. Make use of that. You don't have to worry about that at all. And the next thing is, you can do a lot of wonders by engaging the users. I can give you one example. We implemented something called questions and answers platform. It is something like Quora on the web. This was a local one. Anyone could put a question there and anyone can give answers. This has become so popular, and the platform is set by the library. Even library was doing some advertisement on that. We will ask when a new resource comes, a new resource is this, how to use it. One of the librarian will answer to that question. So that is actually marketing happening. And it was nice to see one question from one of the users that I am trying to solve a problem. I think that a particular equipment, if it is available, I can solve it quickly. Within minutes, an answer came. This equipment is available. It was available about 4 kilometers from that particular user. See, we have saved time and money, and we have become more closer to the users. You are building relationships. Think of organizing events like combining technical and artistic performances on the stage. When we announced this, we started getting a lot of requests as volunteers. In this process, you are becoming more closer to the users and you can advertise your library. In fact, we tried human books also. Thanks to the concept of human library and human books of Denmark, we did it in a different style. As I told you, we indexed experts in the catalog and provided users to give a session for reading. It was possible for them to reserve this human book, and the session was hosted by the library. And the big shots, directors, chairman level people were willing to become human books. It was a golden opportunity for the users without any inhibition. They can simply read that person as a book. There is no director-subordinate relationship there. It's a book sitting there, and user is more powerful. The customer is more powerful. Similarly, you have to work hard on generating more visual contents. Collaborate the young users. They are very good at it. And when you start collaborating them to build a visual content, that will become a tacit knowledge. Similarly, you can think about idea banks as well. We will move on to the next session. Next slide, please. Support and showcase the users. You regularly give them support. What in this particular point I want to tell you is that give some personal support. You have collected information about the user and it contains some personal information as well. By going through this information, a particular person is going to attend a promotion interview maybe after 6 months. Just send him a message. I know that you are going to attend an interview. You please give me your profile. I can collect all the advances in that area and provide it to you. And I can also help you in building your slides. Are you sure that this will take the relation to a next level? I think we have experienced this. Please try it if you can. Next is showcasing users. We have to work hard on, showcasing the users. I'll pick one example from here. We always get blamed about low footfall in the library. But at the same time, online usage is going up and up. Nobody notices that. It is difficult for you to justify that also. So why don't you think out of the box to have a big screen in the library reading hall as an extension, a virtual reading hall with tables and chairs. And when somebody hooks on to one of your services, whether it's a library site or a database which you have subscribed, show an image is sitting on the table. When more people are there, try to fill all the tables. And when further people are coming, you can extend it virtually. There is no limit. In between, you can also advertise. When users become aware that you are doing such an activity, they will be coming to use the resources very easily because they are getting an opportunity to make them visible, because management is also looking at that. So think in this way. We will conclude with the next slide. Well, dear friends, you should take earnest effort to eliminate all disconnects with the library. If somebody is coming with a mobile phone, let him have a sound zone where he can talk with a mobile. If somebody wants to do some serious work, have a silent zone where he can sit and work. If somebody wants to discuss in open, provide a garden library. We did all this, and it was actually taking us very closer to the users. Always be prepared. You know, the users will be now prepared to receive surprise. So you go on giving surprises to them and they will get connected to you. So be omnipresent and be a certified information professional. Thank you so much. You can always contact me on my email. Bye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kuti, for that very insightful presentation. What stand out in your presentation is we really need to know our clients, and that is the basic from perspective of librarianship. Also, we need to connect them and communicate with them, and most importantly, engage and and empower them, and also showcase our product and support them. And lastly is to support, to follow them. So I think we have to look at the whole real life situation that Mr. Kuti has actually, shared with us in trying to engage our users in a very different environment. And allow me to invite our last speaker, Dr. Kasia. Please give us your insight when it comes to, marketing relationship. Again, the strategies that probably will have to be adopted so that we can, engage our users. You're most welcome, Madam Kasia. I think you have to,
Okay, can you hear me now?
Now?
Can
Yes, you are much
now?
audible, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Sila. Yeah, Assalamualaikum and happy morning today. Is it a good day? It's a good new day for our friends. Hello from Malaysia. And I'm talking from my home, of course. Currently we are still locked down in Malaysia. And the topic was given to me was high tech for the success of relationship management. Some of the data that I'm going to share you will, of course, okay, sorry.
Kindly present your slide. Click present now. Correct. Thank you very much.
Okay, right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, this is the second slide. Okay, I'd like to introduce the part that where we are currently actually from the past 500 days, or so, that our libraries, sometimes we got to open, sometimes we need to close down, so on and off, So during the MCO and sometimes the post MCO, all of us need to be aware, understand, and the challenges of what is happening during the pandemic. So we are looking at libraries around the world. You are looking at the library associations. We are moving together actually much better now. Actually, previously we are a bit shy, perhaps, but currently after 500 days of lockdown, I think we are learning to, be friendlier with our friends, from all over the world, So we get connected. Like today, I'm so happy to be here. That you can connect with. This is the first time if physically I've never been to Africa. Now today I'm in Africa. So that's really lovely. And we are looking at next, for example, as the chief librarian of a university library, of course, I have to check the building, our collection, whether the collection is still in good condition, you know, whether our library is, we have to switch on and off the aircon, you know, every day, even though there are not people inside the building. So we are also looking at the usage of the library collections, some space that we have allowed them to come. And of course, we are looking again to our policies. You know, sometimes the policies was not done correctly previously because it's not the pandemic era. So we have to change some of our policies. And of course, along the way, we are looking at the scenario planning, at scenario planning, you know, the way forward, what we can do and what we should do as librarians of the universities, you know. I'm using this definition for my presentation today from Weinstein and McFarlane, 2016. Relationship marketing in libraries involves creating a mindset of values and assumptions toward patron. So just now you heard from Dr. Sarah and Mr. Nara. I'm also, putting more meat to the discussion of relationship marketing, which will also involve customer-focused approach, where library users are the focus of all marketing activities. I think that was reiterated by our two panels earlier. And again, today in my presentation, the focus is still the user. You know, the customer is the king. So whatever the complaints, we must not be complaining to anyone else, except that we need to answer all those questions. So the next focus on this relationship marketing in libraries is to gain participation by encouraging users to take advantage of the library offerings. Sometimes during the the physical opening hours, perhaps they are not aware that perhaps there are bandwidth problems, because most of the time we are around until 12 o'clock at night, so we open daily in University of Malaya, and we are also opening our 24 hours room, which is always full. So the third focus is a lifelong devotion, for a relationship marketing to be able to be incorporated with the library. It must have a lifelong devotion from all of us, from the top person of the library right down to this our support staff. Okay, now if you look at these 10 skills of the future librarians, okay, we are looking at 10 at least skills. Perhaps you have many of those, I mean, all of us has at least 8 or 7, but I'm focusing on the two, number 7, marketing, and number 10, collaboration. So I'm thinking that, assuming that is correct, that we need all these 10 skills, So even though this was proposed by Taylor and Francis 2020, but I hope that we are looking, aware that that we need to have at least these 2 marketing and collaboration skills, other than managing the space and digital literacy technology. Okay. So next, some history of relationship marketing. Okay, it was since earlier, I'm not so sure, who did this research or study. I hope it's correct, okay, because perhaps maybe we do not have data from earlier than 1876. So this was not my idea, not my study. I found this in the internet when you search, I like to say that, when you talk about marketing, actually library has been there. We have done so much of marketing ourselves, right? So since 1876, I really hope it's earlier, because our first library in Malaysia, in the Penang Island, was in 1811. So the marketing perhaps was a bit different, because at that point in time, Penang was library, the public library was an invited only for, so it's not an easy, for laymen like us to go into, the public library of Penang previously, but now you are, of course, very well welcome. So until 2000, you can see that, it was introduced that there is a need for us to have a relationship marketing. And of course, after 2000, we are really using the internet marketing, cyber marketing, and it's a wired marketing, okay? So I'm sharing here, some sort of marketing myself, the University of Malaya using twitter.com, our satisfaction survey, okay? So next, some sample, these, I think you can get this from the internet, some sample of how, software, so you can use. I think some of us are using HubSpot and Salesforce or something like that. I'm not going to go further on this. I just want to know, to tell you that, sharing this, so that you can try to have any one of those. So to whom do we market our products actually, Perhaps when we look at, our person around us, we forget some of our customers, our stakeholders, when some of our librarians was asked by one of our publisher, who are your customers? Some people always just, I do not know that, the NGO actually is, the non-governmental organizations is also our customer. So they are critical customers. Of course, you have this every day, people say, people will ask you a lot of questions that the library is not doing enough, So some questions, coming from our competitors, our competitors, perhaps the same university library level, or perhaps, now we are looking at the private university libraries, which is really, they have lots of money to spend on their libraries. So, it's not easy for us to to beat them in terms of, technology and also interior decoration of their library. So, we lost on that because public university libraries are not so much, they don't have so much money. Okay. So next, the outcome of relationship marketing. There are a lot of outcome, I'm sharing few of this, we're looking at retention, we're looking at positive word of mouth, and you must be quite surprised that I put in the willingness to complain. Why? Just now I think Mr. Nara mentioned, it actually is good to have a complaint, so that you are not, resting on your laurels, okay? So and whether it's easy for people to complain to us, So this thing, even though you say, every day I need to have a very positive complaints, very positive feedback, but actually, sometimes you get a negative feedback. It's good for you to allow for another level of cooperation, okay? So, okay, since our other panels are proposing or sharing lots of relationship marketing, I will only focus on two, okay, internal marketing and also external marketing. Internal marketing is a promotion of library, products and services to employees within the organization. In the case of University of Malaya, we are trying to educate the librarians of University of Malaya and also our people, from the University of Malaya community. For the external marketing, of course, we are looking at the outside of the library and also outside the University of Malaya. And for your knowledge, University of Malaya is, in the middle of a very huge, it's the capital of Malaysia, so we are actually connecting the Kuala Lumpur and also Petaling Jaya. Petaling Jaya is a very, the localities are, people with money. So, we have to be very careful because we also have our, hospital, the university hospital. So for us to be able to be, connecting to our market, external market user, we have to be very, very careful with a lot of things. So, you know, if you are looking at politics, you know, socials and economics, actually, University Malaya is really, really a very sensitive place to be with. So we have to very, very careful. Okay, before I continue, let us have the first poll. Amin or Sila? So this question, you know, give me one example of an internal, one example of an internal marketing outcome is to promote shared values and purpose. So you can answer yes or no. Very simple question, okay? You can participate now.
We have got 150 plus respondent in 33 seconds, around 200.
Okay, good. Yeah, okay, so everybody is still awake, yeah? For us in Malaysia, you are looking at 3 something now, you know, so it's a bit hot. And of course, yeah, the answer is yes. You know, example of internal marketing outcome is to promote shared values, okay? So sometimes when you talk about shared values, you are talking also about the culture, you know, the background, where are you from and things like that, right? So there are there are 4 goals that I could share today. So, you know, beside, you know, increasing the communication, you know, you actually establishing and re-establishing expectation. You know, every day when you got to meet, you know, your client or your customers, you know, actually you are re-establishing connection, re-establishing their expectations. So, you know, this is quite important for us to be always, like the 2 panels mentioned earlier on, you know, we cannot sleep actually. We are trying to get 24/7, you know, everybody to connect with us, you know, all the time. So thus, you know, we have something like a system, the technology which help us, you know, which can help, you know, connecting the user beyond our sleeping time. You know, we can you know, get everybody to, you know, not sleeping, you know. So sometimes we get 2 o'clock in the morning and people just ping you, I need this, you know, today, and I know by 8 o'clock. So, you know, expectations need to be re-established. If you do not get them the article by 8 o'clock, something is not nice is happening. Okay. The third is to promote the shared values. Again, I mentioned just now. So, and the fourth one is to feel empowered. You know, we need to include them, you know, from the beginning and show that that we are considering their contribution, you know. So stakeholders is like our babies, our friends, our neighbors, you know. So we need to connect with them. We need to talk to them. You know, we need to tell them that we are always here for them. Okay. So that is the, you know, the internal marketing goals. Okay. So next is the outcome of internal relationship marketing. Of course, they become our partner, our advocates. You know, they are always our customer. They are always our client. And the last one, you have to look at the prospect of getting them to become, you know, beyond partner, beyond customer. These are the prospect people that, you know, that you might tackle. The you know, it's like getting married to a person. Okay, if you are in love with the girl and you are not in love with the father or mother, I don't think you will get a good marriage, right? The same thing happened to the library. You know, if you are in love with the library, and I mean the person that you want to handle, for example, the student, the new student wants to go into University Malaya, for example, they will ask the father or mother. So the father and mother say, oh no, I don't like this University of Malaya, for example, because last time when I asked, you know, to get an article, they are not responding to me. So this is not good. So as I mentioned just now, you know, the University of Malaya is really, really sensitive. So we need to talk like, you know, every day is, you know, rosy for every one of our customers, because we might get a good student coming into University of Malaya. That is the prospect for a new student. Okay. okay, I'm going to share this, this was done by one of our librarian, it's quite big, because we are so happy to reopen our library. We are really looking forward to meet again our user. Sometimes, we are given only about 1 or 2 weeks. So in fact, when you talk about, hey, hello, we are welcoming you back, please come and meet us. And we have so much more things, that we have new things, we have new books, we have new journals, we have new online databases. For example, we have tested with the lecturers, we have tested with the academicians. So we want you to try, so we are really looking forward. So we put our banner, our buntings, at the front and the back of our library. Imagine, when they pass through the University of Malaya, just I mentioned just now, we have 5 gates. Okay, we have one gate coming from Kuala Lumpur, another gate going out to the Petaling Jaya. So imagine everybody, when they go and they pass through the library, they will see the library is reopening, proposing new things or things like that. So it's a good marketing for us. Okay, it's a simple marketing, buntings, we are not using even electronic here. So it costs us around 150 ringgit or less. Okay, sometimes we print it ourselves. Okay, so next, the focus group of the external, now we are looking at the external relationship people, the focus, For the referral market, for example, there are groups that do marketing for the library, to get a satisfied customer, and this is personal, social networks and mass media via internet. So imagine if we can get a good, a statement coming from our Twitter, for example. We can refer this again and again. We have lots and lots of people that say that, hello, this is a good product, for example. So we can retweet and we can put it up on the blog, on the Facebook and something like that. For the recruitment market, for example, we could attract, getting the new people to the profession, to the library profession. So in fact, it's not easy for us, for example, we are actually, we have contenders, other libraries are also contending for example, the few top librarians. So, for the recruitment market, for the external relationship marketing is really, really important, it's vital for us to get and retain a good librarians. For the influence market, for example, we can include any person from private or public, for example, we can actually move, getting more, this is more like an income stream, for the library. So perhaps we can get, the telecommunications company, to put up their tower, using the library, so that will, give us a stream of income. So this is the thing that, to influence the market. Okay. So I give some example, we are going to have our international conference on libraries and information society. So we are using a lot of social media. We are using the blog, the TikTok, we have our retweet, and also Twitter. So we have our Facebook. So if you go to our Facebook, for example, you can see that some sample that we have done throughout the past 3 or 4 years. So we keep on doing and challenging ourselves, to have more and more marketing, something like this, e-poster, very simple. And there are some more samples here. We are doing more like infographic that we used to send it to via WhatsApp. So again and again, of course, our liaison librarian and our people that handle the reference online, we are using live chat. We have at least 12 librarians online, for one day. So imagine, so there are about 300 to 400 questions a day we get, so it's answered by our librarians online. So why do we need to market the library? It looks like I'm repeating some points here. No, actually, we are looking at the librarianship itself, you know. We are experiencing a very rapid change, you know. There are information explosion, the technology revolution, we have the VUCA world, we have escalating library costs. So we need to have this, the marketing should be done because we need more friends. You know, for example, today we have a meeting, with our, our vice chancellors of the ICT vice chancellors. Okay, so he was asking us, do we need more technology coming into? I say, of course we need more. So if we have friends with these people, so we have more voice in the meeting. So I think if we have more change, if we have more products to buy, we need more friends. So actually, relationship marketing should be done more by the librarians, for the external and internal, all the way around, because there are a lot of demands, from our customers to get new technology. Okay, so if we have friends, we have more voice, and it's easier for us to do work. Okay, so what else why we wanted to market this, so it's about optimizing everything, to stay relevant to the stakeholders. We mentioned again, we are using everything, we are optimizing whatever we could, we could do. For example, we have the QR code, we have a simple QR code, a simple e-posters, a simple banners or bunting. We use it, we share this with the whole of the community, all the way, to up to the blog, so we are using everything, we are optimizing everything, using everything. Everybody's everywhere, our librarians are handling this. Okay, so next, actually, we are need to offer the emerging technologies for stakeholders. So when we talk about these emerging technologies, for example, so far we have set 7, for example, currently we have the we are going with the Internet of Things, and we have the blockchain, we have the drone, for example. We have one maker space which handle drone projects. So we will start as soon as the lockdown is over. Everybody is looking forward to make their own drones. So this is somewhere that that we can tell that even the librarians that we do not have a hands-on experience to have built their own drone. So perhaps this is the right time for us to build one. Okay, so what else why we need to market the library? So there are these 2 points which I like to say that actually I'm reiterating 2 points from the previous panel. You mentioned about how easy it is to go into the library and get a physical book, for example. Now, do you know that it's not easy for us to, reshelve the book now because of the lockdown? So, we need to have another way of, to shelve the book. And after we have shelved the book, whether those books are, needed again, to be in the collection or not. So our weed out policy could happen now, because perhaps that now we are looking at for the top 20% only of the collection is borrowed out by our students for our user. What about that 80%? So we are looking at how to weed out the 80%. So perhaps for University of Malaya, we were given, the task that, to, take, as a second life, second option. Or the collection of that 80% should be given the chance to rest at another space. Okay, so we call them the second chance space. So the first one is the dynamic and updating the library website. It's not easy, very exhaustive, but I think this passion of being a good librarian is everywhere among the librarians of University of Malaya. So we are always trying our best to have the website updated daily. Okay, this is the conclusion. So the challenge of marketing libraries to the next generation, like mentioned by the La Loria Konata 2019, during the 1990s, the voters push towards reinventing government. That is running the government like you would run a business. So I think this is a good thing that we could do. So perhaps today and the future we should be doing business unusual. I'm not sure what is that mean. Perhaps we are combining all the physical marketing, all the internal and external style of marketing. So perhaps the unusual could be in between those. So also you need to think that the library of next generation, perhaps we need to be more prominent and also more we need to across a lot of borders. Like today, we are crossing really huge borders in terms of geographical borders. So Malaysia going to Nigeria, Kenya, and vice versa. So perhaps we need to really exchange more like this. Okay. So thus I will give you our second poll. So please answer this question. How do you market the libraries to the next generation? Okay, so I have given you 3 options. So please choose one. It's quite simple and quite easy. I hope you participate, all of you. Okay.
Currently, we have 120 participants, 150. Okay. And we can wait 3 more seconds.
Yeah,
so 180%. We end it.
Okay. So of course, the answer is manage library like you would run a business, unusual. It has to be unusual. What it means, it has to be back to your culture, to your, environment. You are looking at the VUCA world now, it's really, really volatile, it's really, really unstable. So furthermore, the challenge is, you need to see that the pandemic also will, move us out of this, rest on your laurel. So perhaps from now onward, you have to look into what is that meaning, of the business unusual. So the answer is A. And I think I conclude that. Thank you very much for your listening, for lending your ears, my sharing session. I hope, everybody is happy. And take care, stay healthy. Assalamualaikum. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cassia, for a very good presentation. What I've learned today is you do something from wherever you are, the way you could love to do it for your own business. Manage libraries the way you could manage your own business. I think that is a very heavy, concluding word that you've actually shared with us. Now I will want to have Amit to respond, to read out the questions and answers, and we take it forward to a specific presenter. Please, Amit, proceed ahead.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Silas. So as time constraints, so I will take 4 questions, which are prominently asked by 1 or 2 or many attendees. So one question which I want to ask via Kuti sir. So what kind of software are used for library marketing? So it was posted by Mr. Tapros Mandolo. So, sir, can you answer, please?
Well, I think I made mention of 2 things. One is actually patron point and library guides. That is for marketing. The other one is for maintaining a profile, which is called Vivo, V-I-V-O, which is an open source software. Whereas the other 2, patron point and library guides, commercial.
Sure. And one more question.
Is that clear?
Yeah, I think this will be the answer for the question. One more question, which was posted by one of our attendees. How can relationship marketing be enhanced in a library serving those physically impaired, especially sight? Why I put this question? Because this is very touchy question, and it is really going to help many librarians. Those are serving to visually impaired or physically impaired personalities. So can you answer this, sir? How can relationship marketing be enhanced in libraries serving those physically impaired, especially sight problem?
Well, visually impaired, I think it is very easy. That's what I feel, because if you start doing something for them, they'll be after you. No doubt about that. So what you can do is employ what my personal experience is that I am there in one of the groups. They have just started making use of Clubhouse for discussions. So such activity comes, you can actually talk about library also. They'll be happy to listen to, because what they need is that they just want to listen. They learn everything through listening. So I think it is easy. And of course, if you need more information, I'll have to sit and think and give you. But the person can always contact me on my email. I'll be happy to have a discussion with that person.
Yeah. So
thank you.
If you allow, I can share your email IDs with the attendees, so that if they have further questions also, they can directly connect with you, right?
Absolutely no problem. Please share. And of course, it is there on the PPT also, slide also. You can share my slide. It is there on the slide.
Sure, sir. Sure. Perfect. So there is one question I want to take from Sarah ma'am. So it's can the concept of the marketing, it's related with the school library. Can we put this entire concept to the school library also? So Sarah ma'am, can you answer to this question of one of our attendees called is Pradeepta?
Yes, Amit, I can answer it and share some experiences. As we had already said, that the relationship marketing is creating mindset of values. When we look at the school library scenario, it is actually promotion. Tell the users what the library has and the services that it offers. What comes to mind is you ensure the right products in the library, and therefore the relationship between the library, the publishers, and the vendors. Ensure that you have the right information for your users within the school library setup. The other one is to empower the users to use the resources on their own. Let them have the confidence that they can use the resources because you have trained them, you have marketed what you have, and after you have promoted, you have empowered them. Once they have the confidence that they can use the resources, you've already made them the lifelong users of the libraries, whether it is the physical library or the online library. And I would also like to point out that the customer-focused approach is crucial, even for the school library. Know your users and know their interests, their expectations, and exceed their expectations completely. You could use marketing in the way of making library brand ambassadors who would be able to assist the library to even give the word for the library and encourage the other users. And this one should be very, very good and crucial for the school libraries. And of course, knowing the users, what they want, retaining them as their customers, and encouraging them so that you attract them to the library. The minute you do that, then you enhance their long-term use of their library. I think that's the way I would like to look at it.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect, ma'am. I want to take one more question before passing this session to Silas. So how to measure users' trust in order to market the library? So this question is from Kasha, ma'am. So can you please, ma'am, answer this question?
Again?
Users' trust. Yeah, because it is important for the users' trust. How to measure users' trust?
How to measure users' trust? I see.
Yeah,
okay.
From Haslina Hassan.
Haslina? From Malaysia?
Yeah, Hassan. Yeah. So
okay.
I'm not sure, but I cannot say. No, there is nothing to get the geographical location. But yes, how to measure? Yeah.
But interesting question, currently we only have these, the survey, we do with Google survey, you have the Google Doc, the Survey Monkey and things like that, okay? But I think I've learned so far that, by designing of a good survey is really, really vital. Thus, I think we need to learn to develop our rubric questions. For example, if we are really focusing on internal customers, then we send a good rubric. And this is, when they have answered the question or the survey, we can measure this, their truth, of our marketing. That is by form, by survey. There is one, how to measure by form or by survey. But other than that, actually, when you talk about, the customer loyalty or trust, towards the your library, for example, I'm focusing on library relationship marketing here, okay? When you talk about how do you trust yourself, for example, actually, how far have you answered, all your, for example, customers per day, whether those questions that you have answered are the truth, and sometimes, when you are giving them, not so good answers, this will come back to you, For example, I have one question, for example, asking me, how do I borrow out a thesis, for example, a physical thesis, a printed thesis. So if you say that, you cannot actually borrow out your printed thesis from University of Malaya. So actually, actually it can be done, for sometimes, we allow certain students to borrow out our thesis, our printed thesis. So this kind of answers, is kind of a wishy-washy kind of answer. So the customer will later on will not trust you because you are not giving the right answer. So we have to be very, very sensitive with our grammar. Sometimes our grammar, sometimes we are saying something else, but we are actually meaning that, with something else. We have a different set of, for example, answer, but our question or our response is giving us, for example, a different context. So these are not, in University of Malaya, we have to be very exact, we have to be very careful with what we answer. So I'm saying that whatever that the panel has shared previously, saying that, when you are so passionate about being a good librarian, so actually you're giving a very good answer to everyone. So I think this is something like a 75525, when you are calling for a pizza delivery, for example, you can remember the number because it's pizza. So people are saying that everyone will, connotes, for example, the number to the product. If it's a good product, everybody will remember that number or something like that.
Right.
That's my answer.
Perfect, ma'am. So thank you so much for providing your, and I hope it answers the query, the question from Ms. Hasina. Now I can see many people have raised their hand, but sorry, we don't have time. Dr. Naniki, Manimala, Krishnadhar, Seema Devedi ma'am, and a few more names I have wrote down, but please write your question to us. We will take the responses from speakers and we will reach out to you. And many questions for getting the PPT and session slides. So we will definitely provide you in your email, and recording of this session on YouTube will be available. So now, Sila, it's up to you. Please provide your closing remark. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amit. I think you've spoken very well in terms of taking it forward from here. We know some of the users would love to have more discussion, but we will request you, as Amit has said, that you drop them an email. We will share the presentation slides. And what stand out in the meeting was that we need to change our dynamics in terms of how we market our libraries. From all our presenters, they have mentioned very articulately on how the steps on how we can actually achieve that. I would wish to thank you very much for dedicating this particular time to make sure that you attend our presentation. We really appreciate your efforts in that. Thank you very much, my colleagues at the CLAT, for taking time to organize for this webinar. Thank you, presenters, and most importantly, our guests who are the participants. I wish you well, and you may enjoy your day. I know for some of us it's still mid-morning, some of you are afternoon hours, and some are evening. So may you enjoy the remaining part of the day. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Team MyLoft. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.